is there anything half so wonderful. And now, for the first time in newsreel history, we show you the matchless royal pageantry in all the brilliance of its scintillating colour. Only once or twice in the life of each one of us comes such a day as this, and we know that we're watching history in the
The British media persistent critique of Meghan Markle, even in the face of significant events affecting other members of the royal family, reveals a complex interplay of media dynamics, societal bias, and the commercial interests driving news coverage. Despite Meghan's and Prince Harry's departure from the United Kingdom and their efforts to lead a quieter life in America, the UK press continues to scrutinize and often criticize their actions, particularly Meghan's, with an intensity that seldom anyone else is. This phenomenon reached a perplexing peak when, amidst news of Kate, the Princess of Wales' cancer diagnosis and her subsequent treatment, segments of the British media diverted attention to cast Meghan in a negative light, despite the Sussexes' expressions of support and calls for privacy. I will try to explore this and understand the underlying reasons for this persistent media behavior. I'll try and present some evidence, some analysis in this first part of the British monarchy. Preservation at all cost. This is Majesty Sussex Report. I'm Antonia. Do you get the feeling yet as if we were living in the world of Alice in Wonderland? You know, with all the things that have been happening the last couple of weeks or perhaps the past couple of months, it all just seems rather impossible. But the reality is that it is happening, indeed. So two quick news items to get into really quickly. I'm not going to do a deep dive or anything like that. And the first one is in regards to, it's all over the news, social media, P. Diddy or Sean Combs, and the accusations of S and an A, the accusations of S trafficking, a lawsuit filed against P. Diddy, brought by record producer Rodney Jones, mentions Prince Harry in part of the lawsuit, and it's just mentioned as a form of reference, basically. There's the part that basically says is, and you can see it here highlighted. It's basically there was a promise of access to dignitaries, famous athletes, politicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry, and that's how Prince Harry got mentioned in this situation. I guess there is a price to pay when one is the most famous royal, right? I mean, it's not funny, but Prince Harry is the most famous member of that family, and the problem is not that he was mentioned as a reference, but that the UK media, many of them and others, decided to mislead their readers and use this reference as clickbait, but in their headlines, basically implying, according to the headline, as if Prince Harry was actually involved or part of this lawsuit, right? Completely disingenuous, completely dishonest, and it's absolutely pathetic, right? I commend all of the other outlets and online magazines and so on that actually clarified and were honest as to what this is all about. Okay, so next is the whole situation of, is it AI, is it not AI? Look, I don't know if it is or if it isn't. What I do know is that AI can do some incredible things that would be very difficult for us to just at first sight distinguish whether this is real or created by AI. I want to respect this whole situation and be careful about it, because my mom went through with the entire family. When my mom was diagnosed with cancer, she had her entire uterus taken out. So I approached the situation with that sort of care, and if for me, there are two possibilities. Well, there are many possibilities, but the two that are standing out for me is either one, where Kate is being treated for cancer, and she is taking the time off to be with her kids and to recuperate and all of that, right? The other one is in line of what Concha from Spain sort of said, that she is in a coma and that she's still in a coma, and likelihood that they thought that they were going to she was going to come out of that coma within a week or two. That did not happen, and then all of a sudden we got the announcement that maybe it's going to be 8-9 months or something like that, because we're not going to see her, right, during Easter. Now, all of this could be squashed very quickly and very easily, but I am not going to apply any pressure or say anything. Look, they'll decide what they need to do. They know the truth, and the truth will come out at some point. Because if in 9 months, or if in a couple of months, all of a sudden there was an announcement that the worst has happened, right, and that the treatment for the cancer did not work, then we know the palace is playing games, right? So let it be. And I wish the princess the most speedy recovery and for everything to go well. And she is a mother of 3 kids, and that to me is what, I don't know, supersedes everything else. And that's all basically I have to say about that. I do know, like, I am with you folks. The bench, the back of the bench and the different sizes, the eye kind of popping out, and the sort of this extraordinary oratory all of a sudden. And what was the other thing that I was the hair, that was sort of interesting too. And there was one other thing, but I can't remember right now. So, but there's already a bunch of people on social media saying no, it is AI. Listen, this is a dangerous game if it is, and whatever is happening, like, let the truth set you free. Let the truth set you free. Oh boy. So in all of this happening, I kept thinking, what's the purpose of it all? And the purpose of it all is to make sure that the monarchy continue to exist, right? At all costs. That the British monarchy preservation at all costs. So I wanted to sort of tackle this in little bite size almost, looking at Meghan and perhaps why she's still being bullied, basically. Why to this date they're still writing these awful articles. And even when this whole video came out, and within less than even 24 hours, like, they were article after article after article about Meghan, somehow trying to associate her and blame her, right? And articles on Harry also, right? So that is a start. I want us to start there, and under that premise that everything that is happening, it's happening because they need to safeguard the crown, monarchy, at any cost. Any cost. When you have a king, right, at a time, Prince Charles willing to take away security from his son, knowing the danger that his son, his grandchild, right, and his daughter-in-law was going to be in, to protect what again? So I found that whole thing very, very interesting. So here is my attempt to kind of not explain it all, but to find some reasoning in it all.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or
the British media sustained attack on the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, especially in contexts unrelated to her current life or actions, stem from a mix of racial and gender bias, the economic drive for sensationalism, and a deep-seated resistance to change within the British tabloid culture, rather than any actions by Meghan herself. One cannot overlook the racial and gender bias that pervade sections of the British media landscape, if not all of it. Meghan Markle, as a biracial woman, represents a departure from the traditional image of the British royal family. This deviation has unfortunately triggered latent bias, leading to coverage that is often more critical and personal than that directed at white members of the royal family. Studies and analysts have shown that Meghan has been subjected to a significantly higher volume of negative press, much of it tainted with racist and sexist undertones, which has no correlation with her actions, but rather with her identity. The commercial nature of the media industry cannot be ignored in this discussion. Sensational stories, especially those involving conflict or controversy, sells newspapers and drives online engagement. Meghan, an American actress who married into the British royal family, offers a compelling narrative for the press. The media focus on Meghan, even at inappropriate times, is driven by the knowledge or the acknowledgement that stories about her, regardless of their veracity or relevance, garner significant public attention and consequently revenue. The British media criticism of Meghan also reflects a broader resistance to change within parts of British society, especially among traditionalists who view the royal family as a symbol of national identity and heritage. Meghan's outspokenness about her experiences within the royal family, her American background, and her advocacy for social justice issues challenge these traditional views. The media attacks can be seen as an attempt to quote-unquote correct or undermine her influence. Preserving established norms and values that the royal family is taught to embody. Some may argue that the media focus on Meghan is merely a reflection of public interest, or is justified by Meghan and Harry's continued public statements and media appearance, or their projects. However, this argument fails to account for the often disproportionate and invasive nature of the coverage, which frequently crosses the line into personal attacks and speculations. Furthermore, the right to privacy and respectful treatment does not diminish with public status or just because one is in the public eye. And the intense scrutiny faced by Meghan often lacks justification based on her actual actions or statements. The British media relentless scrutiny of Meghan, especially in light of events that warrant focus elsewhere, is a multifaceted issue rooted in deep-seated bias, economic motivations, and a resistance to change. This behavior not only reflects poorly on the media outlets involved, but also highlights broader societal challenges related to race, gender, and the evolving role of the monarchy. As Meghan and Harry continue to navigate their public life, the media's role in shaping their narrative and the public's perception remains a critical area for examination and ethical reconsideration.
This evening, our sort of evening, and he shuts up. She's got the mic. Everybody heard that she did her own makeup. Oh my goodness! So she's just like an ordinary person now. Is that what that was all about? And she's saying she's so sorry she's late, but she had to get some milkshakes for her children and take the older one to school. It's so patronising, isn't it? Oh.
The British royal family not only occupies a central place in the national identity and heritage of the United Kingdom, but also plays a pivotal role in the economic landscape of the media and, in some sense, the entertainment industry. From television shows to magazines, reporters, experts, commentators, and tabloids, the royals provide a continuous stream of content that translates into significant economic benefits for these sectors. The British royal family serves as a cornerstone for the economic prosperity of various media and entertainment industries, generating substantial revenue through the production and dissemination of content related to their lives, events, and even controversies. Television shows, documentaries, and news segments dedicated to the royal family attract viewers in the millions, both in the UK and internationally. This high viewership translates into lucrative advertising deals and sponsorship opportunities for broadcasters. Royal weddings, interviews, and special events often receive global coverage, leading to spikes in ratings and, consequently, increased ad revenue for networks or newsprint. Magazines and print media experience a surge in sales when featuring the royals on their covers. The demand for royal-related content fuels the publication of special editions and collector's items, driving up sales figures and expanding readership. The allure of exclusive interviews or insights into the royal family's life can significantly boost a publication's market visibility and profitability. Individual careers are also profoundly impacted by the royal family. Reporters who specialize in royal coverage can achieve celebrity status, leading to higher earnings and opportunities for book deals and public speaking engagements. Similarly, experts and commentators who provide analysis on royal affairs often find their services in high demand, enabling them to command higher fees and secure regular appearances on media platforms. The insatiable public appetite for royal gossip and news benefit tabloids and online media platforms enormously. Click-driven revenue models mean that articles about the royals, especially those with sensational headlines, can generate significant income from advertising. The economic incentive encourages continuous coverage of the royal family, regardless of the veracity or relevance of the content. The British royal family impact on the media and entertainment industry is undeniable. By serving as a constant source of fascination, controversy, and interest, the royals provide fodder for a wide range of economic activities within these sectors. The symbiotic relationship between the royal family and the media not only sustains the global visibility and relevance of the monarchy, but also contributes to the economic vitality of the industries, demonstrating the enduring power of the royal influence in the modern world.
About the beginning, and then we spoke to Paddy Harverson, who clearly, Victoria, in his view, yes, social media has acted in all sorts of crazy ways. It's been a bit like the Wild West, but he was also clear that the mainstream media has played a part in creating some of the frenzy. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you published this front page, I think, which said "Lay off Kate." We can show it, I think, to our viewers. Maybe it'll pop up in a few seconds. There it is. So you were, sending that message, basically saying, leave her alone. But then your paper obtained, and I think paid for, footage of her out shopping in Windsor with William. And then today you've got 9 pages in your Sunday edition all about the story. So isn't that a contradiction?
I don't think so at all. No, I was really moved the day of the Photoshop fail when the whole world was attacking her. I just thought it was outrageous. This poor woman was clearly ill and was so desperate that she tweaked a photo, minor tweaks, to make it look a little bit better. So that's why I did that front page, and it was really important. It then changed the narrative. A lot of the rest of the media then started saying, back off Kate. So I don't accept what you said earlier. In terms of reporting the fact that they went out to the Windsor farm shop a few days later, they knew that if they went out there in public, mingled with members of the public, they would be seen and potentially photographed, because everyone's got a camera phone now, and that's how it happened. It wasn't a photographer, it was a camera phone. And of course, I was in discussions with them. I was really...
Everybody, excuse me, David Clues here. I hope you're all well. So, look, the one thing people aren't talking about is this Thomas Kingston suicide, found with a traumatic gunshot wound to the head. Are we just supposed to believe that's not linked to what's going on? The whole thing, there's a massive cover-up taking place. Now, as I keep pointing out, I don't know why. I've given a number of potentials, a number of possible scenarios, but it is very clear there is a massive cover-up. Because they've been lying for months. And then when you realise that the media and the government lie about everything, it kind of all makes sense. The amount of 77th Brigade... the amount of people just making you question yourself, just be wary of who's out there. There's something going on and we'll be vindicated in the end. And as I say, I don't say this with any pleasure. I hope Kate Middleton's okay. I hope she's well. But there's something going on and they're trying to cover it up. And because this is what they do, because they're paid to do that. All these hacks working for the media, all these bootlickers in politics, they're just hacks, and they're attacking us over everything. Anyway, people are waking up to what is going on, and we'll keep fighting. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.
The survival of the monarchy transcends mere tradition and symbolism. Deeply intertwined with this interest is the aristocracy, the social hierarchy, and those in power. They benefit significantly from the monarchy's existence and are committed to its preservation by any means necessary, driven by economic benefits, social prestige, and political influence. The relentless effort to preserve the British monarchy by the aristocrats, the social elites, and those in power is a calculated strategy to maintain their economic privileges, social status, and political influence. Each are intrinsically linked to the institution's continued existence. The monarchy and the aristocrats are deeply interconnected through historical lands, estates, and financial interest. The Crown Estate and the Duchy of Cornwall and Lancaster are prime examples of this symbiosis. with their revenues contributing significantly to the private wealth of the royal family, and by extension, the aristocrats connected through various means. The preservation of the monarchy ensures the continuation of these economic benefits, serving as a crucial motivation for those in power to maintain the status quo. The British social hierarchy, with the monarchy at its apex, is a centuries-old system of class, distinction, and privilege. The aristocracy and societal elites derive immense social prestige from their proximity to the monarchy, manifesting in titles, honors, and exclusive access to royal circles and events. This societal validation not only reinforces their status within society, but also perpetuates a system of inequality that benefits them directly. The survival of the monarchy, therefore, is essential to sustaining this social architecture. The monarchy, though largely ceremonial in its current role, still wields considerable soft power and influence within British politics and beyond. For the aristocracy and those in political power, association with the monarchy can amplify their influence, granting them a veneer of authenticity and legitimacy. Moreover, the monarchy's global recognition and diplomatic relationships serve as valuable tools for advancing national interest and personal agendas alike. The preservation of the monarchy thus aligns with the political objectives of those in power, securing their influence on the domestic and international stage. Critics might argue that the monarchy is an outdated institution, incompatible with modern democratic principles and a burden on taxpayers. However, proponents of the monarchy's preservation contend that it provides unparalleled value in terms of national identity, tourism, and international diplomacy. The economic and cultural benefits, they argue, far outweigh the cost. Furthermore, the monarchy's adaptation to contemporary societal values and its role in charitable and humanitarian efforts exemplifies its potential for positive impact in the 21st century, they would say. The concerted effort to preserve the British monarchy by the aristocracy, societal elites, and those in power is not merely a tribute to tradition, but a strategic endeavor to safeguard their economic interest, social prestige, and political influence. The monarchy's existence supports a hierarchical structure that benefits a few at the expense of the many, making its preservation a priority for those who benefit the most. While the monarchy continues to adapt and evolve, the underlying motivations for its preservation remain deeply rooted in the preservation of power and privilege within British society. In synthesizing the insights from the critical examination of the British monarchy, economic influence, media dynamics, and societal impacts, it becomes evident that the institution, known also as the firm, is deeply entrenched not only in the cultural fabric of the United Kingdom, but also in its economic and media landscapes. The monarchy, with its 1,000-year-old legacy, serves as a linchpin for various sectors that benefit immensely from its existence, ranging from traditional aristocracy to modern media industries. This intricate web of benefits underscores a fundamental truth. The preservation of the British monarchy is pursued with relentless vigor by those who stand to gain from its continuation, often at any cost. The economic symbiosis between the monarchy and industries such as television, magazines, and digital media highlights a calculated cultivation of the royal narrative, tailored to captivate public interest and drive revenue. Meanwhile, the aristocracy and societal elites, bolstered by the monarchy's social prestige and hierarchical validation, find in its preservation a means to perpetuate their status and privileges. Politically, the monarchy's soft power and global recognition afford those in power an unmatched instrument of influence and diplomacy, further entrenching the institution's role as a keystone of national identity and international stature. However, this unwavering commitment to the monarchy's preservation is not without its detractors. Critics often focus on the institution's compatibility with contemporary democratic values and its financial burden upon the taxpayers. Yet, proponents argue that the monarchy's cultural and economic contribution, alongside its adaptability to societal changes and its charitable endeavors, offers a net positive to the country. The British monarchy will be preserved at all costs, reflecting a deep-seated belief in its enduring legacy and its role in the tapestry of Britain.